All right, Google just made a bunch of Gemini announcements. Gemini 2.0 is here. We have Project Astra. We have agents that can browse the web. We have deep research and so much more. Plus, a bunch of other news stories that happened this week. Let's get into it all right now. All right, so first, the biggest news story of the week, Gemini 2.0 is here, and Google is making a big push to let it be known they are in the AI race very much. So let's go over some of the announcements because there were a lot. The first thing is Gemini 2.0, their newest frontier model, and they have a Flash version, which is incredibly fast, very cheap, but still performs really well. Gemini 2.0 Flash outperforms Gemini 1.5 Pro. Yes, you heard that right. The 2.0 Flash model, the small model, the fast model, outperforms the Pro previous version of 1.5, and it's twice as fast. It supports multimodal inputs like images, video, and audio. 2.0 Flash also supports multimodal output like natively generated images mixed with text and steerable text-to-speech multilingual audio. It can natively call tools like Google Search. This is a critical differentiator because not many people have that native search feature. They're using either the Brave browser or some other third-party search versus having the index themselves. And this is really where Google can shine. And it has code execution, which of course ChatGPT just announced, and other tool calling. So how does it perform? Well, here are all the benchmarks on the left side. Here's Gemini 1.5 Flash and Gemini 1.5 Pro, both of which pretty much across the board, Gemini 2.0 Flash experimental beat. And if you've been keeping an eye on the top leaderboards, you know that the Gemini models have been in the top 3 for weeks, if not months now. Now, this is the one that's really impressive. Nearly 93% on natural to code, that is being able to generate code from natural language. And they have live code bench right here at 35%. Now, one thing that model providers sometimes do that I don't really like is just compare their models versus other of their versions of models. Now, I want to see it compared to Llama, ChatGPT, Claude, and so on. I don't want to just see one family of models compared to itself. So just a little piece of feedback to Google if you happen to be watching this. Gemini 2.0 Flash is available right now, so try it out. And not only is it available now to developers, but it's also available in their Gemini app, which is their AI assistant. And I have an iPhone, so I'm not really using it, but I bet it's better than Apple Intelligence. But that's not all. Gemini 2.0 Flash is especially good at native user interface interaction. Basically, it can browse the web on your behalf, and that is a big theme of all the announcements. They are very much seeing the future as agentic, which of course, I know I sound like a broken record, but bullish on agents. So all of the features announced with Gemini 2.0 help it to be able to navigate complex UI environments. So multimodal reasoning, long context understanding, complex instruction following and planning, compositional function calling, native tool use, and improved latency. And they all work together for a new class of agentic experience. Next is Project Astra. And we saw a preview of this kind of a long time ago, but now it seems like it's finally here. And so if you're not familiar with Project Astra, it is a way for AI to basically use your camera, look around at the world, and be able to tell you things about the world. So you can ask it questions and it can see, and it seems really cool. And it's much more than just a vision capable model. It can remember things and it can reason about your environment based on that memory. There are a lot of potential use cases that can be unlocked. It's essentially like having a second brain. And fellow AI YouTuber Matt Wolf was actually invited to London by Google to try it out, and he just posted a video, so definitely check that out. So you can kind of think of it like advanced voice mode, but with vision and memory and better reasoning and basically all the things. So it seems really impressive. Now, the only problem, I think it's only available on Android. So some of the improvements: better dialogue, new tool use, better memory, improved latency. So these are all very welcome features of an AI assistant that's really supposed to help you. Thanks to Emergence AI for partnering with me on this video. If you've watched this channel at all, you know I'm bullish on agents, and especially agents that can accomplish real-world tasks for you. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Emergence AI. Emergence AI just launched their enterprise-grade multi-agent orchestrator, and they showed off the first demo of a real-world use case where these agents can actually browse the web on your behalf. This is enhanced web automation. This means multiple agents can go out and dynamically interact with different elements on the web under this intelligent orchestration to bring human-like interaction and navigation, but at machine level scale. And what's really cool about this is these agents can actually perform complex and sophisticated web interactions that previously required a human. They can navigate dynamic early loading menus, fill out forms, adjust settings, process embedded files, and extract relevant data from PDFs and HTML. Emergence AI's orchestrator offers a combination of design time flexibility and runtime determinism. That basically means that these agents can heal themselves. So if it makes a mistake along the way, it can figure it out and then succeed on the next try. And Emergence AI has put a huge emphasis on privacy and security. They offer a fully hosted solution where you can access it via API, or you can host it on your own virtual private cloud. So if you're an enterprise business and you're looking to automate a lot of your processes, Emergence AI is a great solution. Integrate their agent API and seamlessly orchestrate multiple agents to accomplish tasks for you and your business. This includes interacting with both modern and legacy enterprise applications. So Emergence AI is just starting to invite developers to try out their platform. Definitely check them out. Tell them I sent you, of course. Go to their website, emergence.ai, or simply email them, contact@emergence.ai. I'll drop all of the links in the description below. So thank you again to Emergence AI for partnering with me on this video. Now, back to the video. All right, so I already talked about Gemini's ability to navigate complex user interfaces, and that's what now Project Mariner is. It is Google's foray into giving agents the ability to actually control your browser. And it comes in the form of a Google Chrome extension. So it is a research prototype, it is experimental, it is not publicly available, but hopefully it is soon to beta testers because I definitely want to test it out. And right here it says Project Mariner achieved a state-of-the-art result of 83.5% working as a single agent setup. So basically you gave it a task to accomplish on the web and it was able to do so. This is the future of agents. I could not be more sure. Now, we already know Operator from OpenAI should be coming out in the new year. Maybe during the 12 days of OpenAI, we'll see. We saw Runner H, which is a similar project to navigate the web, and we've seen Claude computer use. So really giving agents a way to control your computer, control your browser is definitely coming soon. And then next, they also released Jules, which is interesting because Devin was just released publicly this week as well. I'll get to that in a moment. But Jules is agents for developers, and it integrates directly into your GitHub workflow, which is nice. And you can just tag it and let it accomplish things for you. It can tackle an issue, develop a plan, and execute it all under a developer's direction and supervision. So very similar to GitHub workflows, very similar to Devin, very similar to Pythagora and CodeBuff, and a lot of other projects that are just making it so much easier for developers to accomplish so much more. And then in a surprise announcement, they're also allowing agents to watch you play video games and actually give you tips, which seems kind of wild to me. I did not expect this. So here it says Google DeepMind has a long history of using games to help AI models become better at following rules, planning, and logic. Just last week, for example, we introduced Gemini 2, our AI model that can create an endless variety of playable 3D worlds, all from a single image. Now, they've built agents using Gemini 2 that can help you navigate through a virtual world, and it can reason about the game based solely on the action on the screen. They're collaborating with one of my favorite game developers, Supercell. I love Brawl Stars, and I love Clash Royale. And so these agents can basically watch you play and give you suggestions. So they are really thinking about putting Gemini 2.0 in everything. And I've said this a few times, but not only that, they're putting it in embodied robots in the real world. So we'll see. I mean, it seems Gemini 2.0 is very impressive. So that's the summary of all of Gemini's updates. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I would say I'm very impressed, but I want to know from you. Let me know. All right, since we're talking about Google, let's talk a little bit of drama. Now, it seems, according to the information, Google has asked the FTC to basically end Microsoft's deal with OpenAI, and specifically their cloud deal. Now, The whole deal between Microsoft and OpenAI is weird, to say the least. And all of it really hinges on what OpenAI's definition of AGI is, because as soon as they hit AGI, the entire deal changes pretty much night and day. Google recently asked the US government to break up Microsoft's exclusive agreement to host OpenAI's technology on its cloud servers. Exclusive deals aren't necessarily illegal, but companies that buy OpenAI technology through Microsoft may face new costs if they don't already use Microsoft servers to run part of their business. Microsoft gets a 20% cut of OpenAI's revenue, and as you probably know, they also own 49% of the overall company. And you've probably already heard OpenAI is transitioning to being a for-profit. So there's just so much going on with the corporate strategy of OpenAI, of Microsoft, and we're going to see how all of this plays out. Now, this is all at a time where the US government is looking very closely at Google and potentially, and it seems likely, going to break them up. And maybe they're going to spin off the Chrome browser. I don't actually think we have the final details yet, but it's interesting how all of these massive tech companies are all aggressively playing legal battles. Next, moving on from Google, we're now talking about General Motors. Now, when I was in San Francisco for about a decade, I remember this little company that started called Cruise, and they made autonomous vehicles. And they were a really popular company within that insular environment of Silicon Valley. And then they were acquired by General Motors. Now, General Motors is shutting it down, which is kind of crazy because they were bought for billions of dollars. GM plans to realign its autonomous driving strategy and prioritize development of advanced driver assistance systems on a path to fully autonomous personal vehicles. So rather than having an autonomous fleet of taxis, for example, they're betting more on personal autonomy, basically your own car driving itself. This is both surprising and not so surprising. Whenever a non-tech company acquires a hardcore tech company, I haven't really seen it work out all that well many times. Now, if you can think of a good example, let me know in the comments. Now, it's definitely disappointing to see. I'm excited for Tesla's robotaxi. I know Google has Waymo. There's this other company, Zoox, which looks really cool. So there's definitely a lot of competition out there still, but as always, more competition is better. All right, so I talked about it earlier. Let's talk about Devin. Devin is now publicly available, but there's a catch. It's expensive. $500 a month gets you Devin. Now, if you put it in context of what is actually delivering in terms of value and time savings, maybe it's not expensive. If you just think about it as a junior developer, it's actually quite cheap at $500 per month, $6,000 per year. Devin seemingly is very impressive, but transparently, I have not tested it myself yet. I do plan on doing it. I just haven't done it yet. And as part of their announcement, they actually linked to a full Devin solution for a GitHub issue. And the GitHub issue happens to be for MCP, Model Context Protocol, which is from Anthropic. So it's kind of cool to see this. So this person on December 6th says, "Hi, please figure out a good solution for this issue. Link to the issue. Use the local copy of the inspector repo. Don't make a PR yet." Devin starts doing it, grabs everything, makes a plan, and executes on the plan, pushes the code, and creates a PR. All of this is done autonomously. Very impressive. So very cool interface, very easy to use seemingly, but I always look at it and think, what is their differentiator? If these models are publicly available for any developer to build on top of, what are they really doing differently? Do they have a special version of the model? I don't think so. They definitely have a really cool interface. They probably have a lot of agentic scaffolding on top of the model, but I don't know how far that gets you. We'll see. Either way, seems very cool. Congrats to Devin on the public launch. All right, next, it seems Grok has a new image model. It's called Aurora, but then they removed the Aurora title. But either way, it's out. It can create people, famous people, and it looks really accurate, really high quality. It is an autoregressive mixture of experts network trained to predict the next token from interleaved text and image data. That is Aurora. So let's take a look at some examples. So here's the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird in an abstract style. Here's the Optimus robot wearing an Xmas costume. Here is a Grok logo, some flowers, which looks really good, an origami Cybertruck. Here's Jackie Chan in Donald Trump's hairstyle. So it obviously has no problem reproducing celebrities and other well-known people. So I've seen Bill Gates, I've seen Donald Trump, I've seen Kamala Harris, I've seen everything, and it doesn't refuse ever. And I think Grok is kind of known as being the most permissive in terms of what it will do for you. And Google was really on a roll this week. They also announced Willow, which is a completely game-changing new quantum chip. And quantum is not something I'm very familiar with, but I'm starting to learn more, and I definitely want to talk about it on this channel. If you want to hear about it, let me know. So quantum chips are able to compute certain types of use cases infinitely faster than traditional CPUs or GPUs can. And I'm not going to get into the details of how they do that, but one of the biggest problems of why quantum computing hasn't gone mainstream is because of the error rate. And previously, as the number of qubits, essentially the bits of the quantum computer, increase, the errors increase. And so at a certain point, it was just unusable. But now Google released Willow, which actually has the opposite effect. As you increase the qubits, the error rate decreases exponentially. This is a fundamental unlock for quantum computers and has a lot of potential consequences for the entire world, whether we're talking about research or weather prediction or encryption. All of your passwords might be at risk. Cryptography in general, crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, these things might be able to be just quote unquote solved by quantum computers. Now, here's the good thing. It is extremely expensive, both resource-wise, expertise-wise, basically everything to create a quantum computer. There's only a handful or less companies in the entire world that can actually pull this off, and only one so far who has figured out how to get rid of those errors really well. So we're not anywhere close to some hacker in a basement being able to build up a quantum computer and break everybody's passwords, so don't worry about that. But a really cool update nonetheless. Listen to this stat. Willow performed a standard benchmark computation in under 5 minutes that would take one of today's fastest supercomputers 10 septillion years. That's 10 to the 25th, a number that vastly exceeds the age of the universe. So it's basically not possible to compute on traditional computing. And it only took this 5 minutes. And if you have any articles or books you suggest that I read to learn more about quantum computing, let me know down below. All right, next, it seems like December is AI month because there had just been so many updates and releases. Of course, Zuck has something to say. They have released Llama 3.3 70B, and he also talks about the future of AI. Let's watch.
All right, hey guys, I've got our last big AI update of the year. Our goal at Meta is to build general intelligence and open source it so that way everyone benefits. Meta AI now has nearly 600 million monthly actives, and as promised, is on track to be the most used AI assistant in the world by the end of the year. If you haven't gotten a chance to try voice mode yet, try it, it's awesome. Now, I started 2024 talking about how we had a bunch of H100s, that this was going to be a big year for open source AI. And it has been. Llama has quickly become the most adopted model with more than 650 million downloads, and it is starting to become an industry standard. We have one more release for the year. Llama 3.3 is a new 70 billion parameter text model that performs about as well as our 405 billion parameter model, but now it is easier and more efficient to run. So that is the last Llama 3 release. The next stop is Llama 4. And if we started the year talking about the size of our clusters for training Llama, I want to start to wrap the year by doing the same. We just announced that we were building a 2 gigawatt plus data center in Louisiana that we're going to use to train future versions of Llama. We are in this for the long term, and we are committed to building the most advanced AI in the world. All right, thank you for a great year so far. I'm looking forward to sharing more soon.
All right, so let's look at Llama 3.3 70B because there's a lot here. It is better performance than 405B, but easier and more cost efficient to run. So we can see the benchmarks right here. Here's Llama 3.1 70B and Llama 3.3 70B, and it looks like a modest improvement from 3.1 70B. But the best part, open source. So you can download it, play around with it, and use it, and it has a very permissive license. All right, and then next, this happened a little over a week and a half ago, so it's kind of old news, but I just want to mention it quickly. David Sachs, tech investor, tech operator in Silicon Valley, has been chosen by President Trump to be the AI and crypto czar for the United States. So kind of interesting. I'm a big fan of the All In podcast. I watch it pretty religiously. And now seeing David Sachs being the head of such an important part of the government as it relates to AI and tech and cryptocurrency, I have mixed feelings about it, but we'll see. I definitely like that he chose somebody that is very technical, very forward thinking. Sachs was also PayPal's COO, kind of the founding era of PayPal. He built Yammer and sold it for billions. He founded Craft Ventures, which have made a number of investments in every area of tech, but mostly known for SaaS. And so we'll see how it plays out. And so that's it for today. A lot of news, I know, a lot of cool stuff. Of course, we still have multiple days left in the 12 days of OpenAI, so I'll be here for it. I'll be reporting to you. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.